like a green bean?
No, you just, well, you put it in the recipe. It has like a little bean in there. No, you gotta take the bean out. The mondo beans, the ones you gotta cook. So you gotta boil them. They're really good.
So you find those in the can, right? Chickpeas or garbanzo beans?
They're little beans inside.
So isn't that beautiful? You see exactly what it looks like right outside of the can. Isn't that cool? Yeah. So you have to peel these.
Yeah, you gotta.
Yeah, that's on the inside.
Yeah. They're like the same as these, but they're easier to check out.
Yeah.
Actually, these are really nice.
That's the original.
Sometimes they don't come as big. They're nice.
So garbanzo beans.
So you can cook them when they're green?
Yeah,
that's the best time to come cook it.
Yeah.
Does it change that color when you cook it?
It turns like a tannish.
Yeah.
I'm all about,
Is it
doing
easier
it
to peel once
natural,
it's cooked, or
but
I've never eaten it. I've never seen it like this. I've always eaten it out of the can. That's why I was shocked. Yeah. Okay.
But yeah,
But it's easy to cook some onions, some scallions, some tomatoes and sauteed. I've never eaten that in baby. I've never seen it. Okay.
Yeah, you got like red jalapeno, which are like the fresh home peppers. So there's two kinds of fresh ones and the red jalapeno. You got the red jalapeno. And those are medium with spice. It just depends like how they come. Sometimes they can come really hot. And then some mild. So you got the and then you got the Thai pepper, chile arbol, which is a Mexican pepper. And they're like really small. They're really hot.
What?
Yeah, they're really hot peppers. This one's just
What dishes do you typically use those in?
you can use it like in small dishes, like you can use it like Chinese dishes too, or like for like something just to eat it like that. But people, like Mexican people, they just eat it like that.
Oh wow!
And then we got I didn't get it. Now the Scott bonnets, they're not coming in that good right now, but they look like this. The Scott bonnet, they're like similar to the habanero, but they're not as spicy. The habanero is more of a spicy. That's like our hottest pepper that I got here. And then the next hot would be like this one here.
And the Scotch bonnet is prevalent in West Indian cooking. Well, thank you, Juan. We appreciate your time.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. One more thing. Could you talk about the nopales?
Oh, nopales? Yeah. Nopales is a Mexican dish, too. And you got to shave them. Like, you grab it like this, and you shave it that way.
Okay.
See, I don't know how to do it, but like the ladies, they usually shave them like that.
Just to get the purple
older Mexican ladies that they're real professional, they just do it like that, real fast. And I don't know how to do it. I don't know how they do it without getting poked.
Right.
But you eat the inside of it, you cut it, you can get them like diced. And I got some diced ones over here too. They're in a bag. They're like diced like that, but they're really good.
Is that the same?
No, that's a pinka de maguey. They put that on the ground. And they like wrap like pork around it. They get two of them, and it makes it like seasons the meat. Yeah, it seasons the meat, and it makes it like nice and juicy.
Now this, do you just cook? How do you prepare that?
That one you can just prepare it like fry it or boil it together. Not boil it, fry it with like some tomatoes, onions, and jalapenos. So it's pretty good. And the red sauce, you can use like a red sauce, like those guajillo peppers over there. They're called guajillo. Just mix it up together. Because you gotta put those in the blender and then you put it with water. And it makes it like a sauce.
And you can saute it and make tacos out of it. Yeah.
As a meat substitute?
Not as a meat substitute, but like things like veggie fajitas type of thing.
Okay. Gotcha.
So it'd just be an additional vegetable.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
right?
and then let me see something different that's not normal, not a everyday item. It's, you got like the aloe vera, the savina. Wow. It's like, it's the cactus. I'm sorry, I have the cards. The cactus.
Almost looks like a weapon.
And this one they use a lot for for people that are sick with high blood pressure or you know diabetics. They get this a lot, and then they eat the inside of it.
Yeah.
Because you can't eat the whole thing. You gotta cut it in, slice it, and then they use the
jelly
for
wounds and ointment replacement.
Yeah,
it's great for your digestion.
And then we got another item, Mexican item, is tomatillos, and this one they make like salsa. Or you can do like green tomatoes, you know, like fried green tomatoes, but like Mexican, from Mexico. And it's similar to the fried green tomato, it just has a different texture to it.
I've never seen any that big.
Yeah, and then you could you cook it with like tomatoes, jalapeno. You make like a sauce, like a like a dip, and then you eat it like that with tostadas.
Or salsa.
Yeah, salsa. Yeah. You make a salsa with
it. Yeah. Green salsa.
We got the jalapenos, which is that's normal spice, and then the hottest ones we got is the serrano peppers.
Serrano peppers.
Serrano peppers. Not the hottest one, but the next to the hottest is this one too. It's similar to the jalapeno, but more spicy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the items are yuca root. Yeah. Yuca root. It's a Costa Rican dish. You can use it for they make like fries, like French fries.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's
like
a
potato.
Yeah, like potato. It tastes like potato, but it has a little bit more of a harder texture than a potato, so it's a little bit different. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Guys, I didn't know.
It's much appreciated.
I would have been more prepared, you know. I'm by myself right now. I don't know.
You already seemed like you was prepared.
Yeah, I know.
Pretty well informed.
All right, you're welcome.
Okay. All right.
No, it's on the end at the bottom.
So he's gone through some of the less familiar produce. So let's talk about GMO versus conventional versus GMO. Well, conventional, organic, GMO, right? So conventional has a PLU code on it that begins with either a 4 or a 3. So this particular apple has a 3 on it. 3283 conventional. That just means that it's grown conventionally, right? Like they use whatever is the popular pesticide, that's what they use. Same here for this apple. This is 4016. Again, that's 3 or 4 is conventional. Conventional GMO has an 8 on it, but there are no laws saying that you have to label. You have to label the produce with an 8. So some stores do and some stores don't. And so here your resource would be Eli, and you would just ask him which fruits and vegetables are GMO grown. Okay. Where did I get these apples from? Over there. Okay.
Over there.
I'm going to put it back. Just put it right here for now. Thank you, Reggie. There's a lot of information here. Seasoning. Let's head over there to that end cap. Which is great because the price point is excellent, $1.09. However, not all seasonings are created equal because what you're looking for is just the whole seasoning. So you don't want a bunch of aluminum or other items in your seasoning. Garlic powder, black pepper, paprika, all are just whole seasonings with no additives. So I think that's excellent for just $1, right? And the key to plant-based cooking is seasoning, right? You gotta make it taste good. So season your food liberally. That's what it's Here we have the box meals. Now, I know I said shop, around the perimeter of the store, but let's say that you're traveling, you're in Podunk, Alabama, right? And it's a struggle. Without the tea, it is a real struggle. There are things that you can do. You can add vegetables to increase the nutrient content, right? And so I'm just giving you the information because I really just want to identify the vegetarian and vegan items at this particular store. So believe it or not, these Zatarans meal kits, some of them are actually vegan and vegetarian. So of the Zatarans box mixes, the gumbo mix is, where's the gumbo? This gumbo base is vegan. Your dirty rice, your red beans and rice. The red beans, however, contain an MSG alternative called Cholula yeast. Cholula yeast is a byproduct of the paper manufacturing industry. I hadn't heard anything bad about Cholula yeast, but it just doesn't rest well with my spirit to consume something that's a byproduct of manufacturing paper. And it is an alternative to MSG. Now, when I think of MSG, I think of ramen noodles. Remember when you were in college and you had that case for 50 cents? Yeah, you know, a young brain can tolerate that, right? But that's not something that you want to consume. Let's see. Any questions so far? All right, let's read it.
It's very salty. I tried it once.
Salt?
Salty, I think it must have been salty.
Oh gosh.
More I threw the whole thing away. It's just salt.
Salt.
Just a heaping bag of salt.
It's not pink Himalayan sea salt.
Not good.
It's not sea salt. It's sodium chloride. That's the first ingredient. I don't even need to read it anymore.
Wow.
Hey, that's high blood pressure in the back for you right there.
That's how ingredients work. Whatever's the first ingredient is the one that has the most in it.
No. Those are the ones that I recommend because they don't have any additives in them. Right? So...
At least you have the intuition to not eat it. A lot of people will say, well, I spent my money, I'm eating it anyway.
I didn't eat it.
Then you're going to hurt down here because your kidneys are overloaded.
The fajita seasoning mix has calcium stearate added to prevent caking. You don't want that. Right. It has salt. It has monosodium glutamate. What's monosodium glutamate?
MSG.
MSG. You don't want that. MSG puts holes in your brains. MSG is linked to Alzheimer's. MSG is linked to so many bad things. Monosodium glutamate, you don't want that. Whether you're plant-based or not. So you just want the whole product. If I want peppercorns, that's all I want in my peppercorns is peppercorns. I don't want MSG in my peppercorns. If I want garlic powder, I just want garlic in my garlic powder. I don't want anti-caking agents, right? If at all possible. If at all possible. So let's move over here to aisle 1. That's right here. Supplements. So they carry a supplement called moringa. Moringa is found in India and Africa. It lowers blood sugar and cholesterol. It reduces inflammation. It's full of antioxidants. This is really good in countries like India and, continents rather, like India and Africa, where people don't have, sometimes don't have access to essential nutrients because this will fill in the gap. But it's like a wellness tonic, right? So you make tea out of it or you would take the drops. Moringa, Africa, India. Over here we have dried fruit. Generally speaking, dried fruit has sulfites in it, has sugar to make it taste good. Cranberries are more tart than lemons, if you can believe that, right? So of course they add sugar to it. So ocean spray craisins, what do they put in it? Cranberries and sugar. Okay. However, Dole has a product raisins, 100% natural, no sulfites. Why is sulfite-free a good idea? Because sulfites trigger asthma. So if you're a person that you say, oh, I've had wine, but you know, it makes me cough, it aggravates my allergies, it makes me puffy, it's the sulfites, you're allergic to the sulfites. Same thing with raisins and any other dried fruit has sulfites. This particular brand has nothing but dried raisins. Let's move down here to the condiments. And let's stop right here.
Come to the men's please.
And let's make way for the ladies. Oh, please come through. Okay, all right. So the condiments, we have Mount Olive Simply Relish, and I'm pointing out the plant-based condiments that don't have dye in them. Plant-based doesn't have any little sneaky additives. Mount Olive Simply Relish, your pimentos, capers, French's and golden spicy brown mustard, ketchup. So the thing about the ketchup is you don't want all the high fructose corn syrup. High fructose corn syrup is a byproduct of the corn industry. You don't want that. It's worse and cheaper than just plain white cane sugar. Actually, Simply Heinz has a no GMO. Heinz. Simply Heinz has a no GMO, no high HFC ketchup. Kogan's Liquid Smoke. So let's come down here.
Y'all go ahead.
Liquid Smoke. In plant-based cooking, Liquid Smoke will add that smokiness flavor to your. So let's say if you're used to putting like smoked turkey legs, ham in your greens, in your green beans, this is a great alternative, right? Just the liquid smoke to give you that smoky flavor. You can absolutely, but we're going to get to that when we get to the other side. That's okay. That's a good question.
What was your question?
So let's come on down here.
Can you use smoked paprika?
Oh.
So here we are, we're in a grocery store. We don't have access to organic, it's only conventional, right? So what do? What about the pesticides? Well, there are ways to remediate that by pre-soaking your vegetables and washing them. Now, there are commercial products on the market like Fit, but you can make it at home with vinegar, lemon, and salt. Lemon or vinegar or salt. Just by soaking your greens, spraying your berries with different variations, and I've included that on the last page of your handout. Bragg's is excellent. I was really happy to see that they carry Bragg's here at Fiesta. Right. So Bragg's is excellent. Like if you suffer from seasonal allergies, right, and you're not vegan or strict vegan, once daily, Bragg's, honey, and lemon with some warm water at night will help diminish your allergies. They also have regular vinegar, and you can use regular vinegar to soak your greens. Yes, sir.
Why would you take the apple cider vinegar with water?
Okay, because it's too acidic, right? It will damage your esophagus. A lot of people think more is more. In this case, less is more. You'll actually cause more harm to yourself, real serious harm that will require allopathic intervention, meaning you'll have to go see a PCP or go to the emergency room. Okay. Good question. Thank you for that. Okay. So let's move on down to the salad dressings. There are not many to choose from, but I think a pretty good selection. So Wishbone carries a extra virgin olive oil, lemon herb, Ken Steakhouse balsamic vinaigrette, Kraft Classic Catalina. Those are all vegan salad dressings. And when I say all, there are 3, but 3 is better than none, right? It's on your handout. So it's the Wishbone EVOO, extra virgin olive oil, lemon herb, Ken Steakhouse balsamic vinaigrette, and Kraft Classic Catalina. Those three.
Catalina does it. Catalina has a lot of sugar in it, doesn't it?
Well, it has sugar, but it is vegan.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. And so let's make our way over to aisle 2. I'm gonna stop here. Excuse me. So aisle 2, breakfast, cookies, peanut butter, and jelly. So Fiesta carries Justin's. Sure, come on in. Come on in. Just come around. Just come around. So maybe we can get like some of you on this side and then some of you on that side so that we're not obstructing the aisle. Just come on in. And I promise I'll project so you can hear and I'll hold up the product as well. Come on in. 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 Okay, peanut butter and jelly, classic staple. Who doesn't like peanut butter and jelly? All peanut butters are not created equal. Personally, you know, my peanut butter or my almond butter, I just want the peanuts. I just want the almonds, right? But just reading the label, you know, this says peanut butter. But also it had the second main ingredient is sugar. So it has peanuts and sugar and hydrogenated vegetable oil, which is made up of cottonseed and rapeseed oil, which is
Canola oil.
genetically modified canola oil, and salt. And then there's a little label that says contains peanuts, by the way. Well, I just said by the way. But yeah, there's some peanuts, right?
So what's a genetically modified canola oil?
Rapeseed.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know.
It's the second ingredient. The first 3 is primarily what the product is made up of. Right?
So if it's the second ingredient, it's the second most abundant thing in it.
Yes.
So it's just mostly sugar and probably, you know, peanuts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sugar, peanuts, and hydrogenated oil.
And grape
Genetically modified.
GMO canola oil?
Yes. Rapeseed. That's the original name of canola.
It's grapeseed.
Rape. No G.
Oh,
Rape.
Oh,
Yeah.
rape.
I thought it was
see
great.
why.
People don't like the name.
Right. Right. Rape. R-A-P-E. No. Grapeseed oil comes from grape seed.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Canola oil is rape seed. R-A-P-E. S-E-E-D. It's genetically modified unless it says otherwise.
Hey, Sherry.
Yes.
Now I just say a comment. If you want more information on that oil, just Google on YouTube canola oil plants, and they'll show how it's made. They make it with sodium hydroxide. That's what women use to perm their hair. Wow. So
women and men.
Yeah, women and men.
Yeah, that's what canola oil and rapeseed oil?
They're the same
It's the
thing.
same thing.
It's just been renamed.
It's the same thing. Right. So if you have an aversion to canola and you read that label, you say, oh, I'm good, right? Because it only has rapeseed oil in it. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. This is Justin's. This is a really good product, but they only sell it in personal size products. But I think this is great though, because if you're on the go, right, grab a couple of these and just throw it in your bag, right? It's like an instant boost of protein, right? And so this is the classic. It's roasted almonds and palm oil. So it's the least offensive of what's offered here.
Yeah.
And feel free to shop. You have bags. If there are any products that we run across, like I want more.
I want more, but people might want some.
No charge?
No,
yeah, right.
The bag is no charge. Okay. Nut butters.
Oh, you can have mine.
And
You
then
want
we
my
have
bag?
the jelly. You want to look for products that just have the fruit, right? And not all of the sugar. Again, it's about reading labels. All right, so we have over here pancake syrup. Pancake syrup is made from high fructose corn syrup. Okay, so I'm not even going to go into all the details. It's just high fructose flavored corn syrup, right? Maple syrup. Maple syrup is what you want. Okay. It costs a little more, but it's natural. It comes from maple trees. Now, all maple syrup is not created equal. Yes, ma'am.
I was thinking that
Yes.
too. Yeah. What you said? Agave.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if they have agave here though. That might be
But agave is not as good for you as marketing would have you to believe. Okay. The thing about agave is they initially marketed to people who are insulin resistant, right? Said, oh, you can have the sweet and take your insulin and it won't affect you and you'll be okay. But that's not the case. Your body still recognizes it as sugar. It doesn't have that drastic reaction like a white processed sugar, but your pancreas still reacts to it. This is natural. This comes from, agave comes from a plant. It has to be processed, right, in order for it to become a syrup. This is maple syrup from a tree. They tap the tree, they put a bucket in front of the tree, and they bottle it, and you have it. But let me say this, non-organic conventional maple syrup, they use formaldehyde to pull the maple syrup out of the tree, right? So that's part of the processing. I know, not this particular brand, this is a general statement, right? It's just information, folks. It's just information. Well, honey's real, but you want local honey. If you're going to do honey, you want to do local honey. One of the byproducts of doing local is that you will build up an immunity to the pollen that's in the area, and you'll find that you won't have seasonal allergies. Yes.
I have seen some products that will look like honey bottles, and it'll be half honey and then half something else.
Sure.
So try to make sure you read it too.
Yes.
I've run into that and gotten it. I tasted it. This doesn't taste right.
Right. Right. Berlin says honey. What's in it? Honey. Honey. The bear. It's the bear. The bear. Honey. And honey has natural antibacterial properties. So if you've ever had, you weren't feeling well, you had a seasonal cold, and you did lemon honey, warm water, and you felt better, it's a natural expectorant, helps you to get rid of that mucus, right? If you're a vegan, that would be problematic, and so rather than doing honey, you would opt for maybe some stevia, maybe you would do some agave, maybe you would do some succulent. The options are limitless, but really it's up to you. Okay. Okay, let's move down here to the pancake mix.
The pancake mix.
I thought it was further down.
Aunt Jemima regular is vegan, right? Okay. It's vegan. Now it wants you to add eggs, but there are vegan egg alternatives here at this market, and we'll get into that. Well, why not? Flaxseed eggs. Anybody ever heard of flaxseed eggs? Right. So you take 3 tablespoons of ground flaxseed, combine it with 3 tablespoons of water, mix it, set it aside for 15 minutes, preferably in the refrigerator, until it turns into a gelatinous substance, and then add it to whatever recipe. So 3 per egg.
okay.
That's a flaxseed egg. So you would do that here.
If it's 2 eggs, then you do it twice.
Right. You do it twice.
So, but you actually put the egg in there too, though?
You don't.
Excuse me, sir.
If you are vegan, you wouldn't do eggs. If you're vegetarian, you don't have a problem with eggs. And I think Raise your hand if you're vegetarian.
But what's the difference in vegan and vegetarian?
Vegan is no animal products at all. So that means no dairy, no cheese, right? No eggs.
No byproduct. Whatever.
No, nothing that came from an animal.
Or insect.
Okay, flesh, etc. Full circle gluten. Full circle gluten. Full circle gluten free. Okay, I guess it's gone. Here it is. It was right here. $4.99. They have a gluten-free pancake mix, vegan pancake mix, which I thought was awesome because a lot of people are now becoming gluten sensitive or gluten intolerant. Right. There's a book out called Wheat Belly. If you haven't read it, it links a lot of the illnesses that we deal with today to an intolerance to wheat. Right. And so the theory in the book is if you eliminate the wheat, you eliminate the illnesses.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wheat is man-made too, right?
I'm sorry?
Wheat is officially man-made.
No, wheat is genetically modified, but so is just about everything.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. Carrots didn't look like carrots. Watermelon didn't look like watermelon in the beginning, right? So they went into the lab and they created hybrids so that they would become resistant to famine, to drought. They will become resistant to certain pests, right? So yeah, but if you Google like carrots, the origins of the carrots in watermelon, it will be unrecognizable to you. Absolutely unrecognizable. Okay. Are we on the cookie aisle? Are cookies over here? Mm-hmm. Cookies are right here. Little Dutch. All of the Little Dutch cookies are vegan, surprisingly, with the exception of chocolate chip and coconut macaroon. They're all vegan. I'm not endorsing that you just go hard with the, like, don't fill up your bags with these little Dutch cookies now. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying, if you wanted a treat, okay. I see.
Right.
If you wanted a treat, you didn't want to spend a lot of money.
Right, okay.
If you gouge, the stomach ache is not on us.
Apples weren't accessible. Apples and bananas weren't accessible. These are actually vegan. About to blow your mind.
Oreos vegan.
Oreos vegan, y'all.
Yep.
Again, it's not an endorsement. Lance peanut butter crackers, Nabisco real fruit Newtons, animal crackers, Teddy Grahams, Nutty Butters, Gamesa Populares. That's that Latino brand. I remember those when I was a kid. Yeah. Honey Made graham crackers, Keebler saltines, all vegan. Just information. Just information. On the opposite side of this aisle, if you just turn this way, we have your cereal. Pop-Tarts are vegan, not all of them. The brown sugar and the strawberry unfrosted, which are on the far end of this aisle on the right side. Those are vegan. Your oatmeal, your Quaker instant oatmeal, date, walnut, apples and cinnamon, maple brown sugar. Vegan. General Mills oatmeal crisp, Post grape nuts, Cocoa Pebbles. Cocoa Pebbles are vegan, y'all. Cocoa Pebbles are vegan. Okay, let me see. Let me exhaust the list.
Exhaust.
Kellogg's Raisin Bran Crunch, Rice Krispies. This is not an exhaustive list. I would have to read every box. But I kind of picked out, healthiest, right? So like grape nuts, that would be deemed, quote unquote, the healthiest, to Cocoa Pebbles. Vegan, yes. Oatmeal. So, for children, maybe for yourself, if you're a connoisseur of cereal, that's good to know. Oatmeal. Now, the Quaker instant oatmeal in a box, that is processed. It has sugar in it, right? It's vegan, but let me say this, just because it's vegan doesn't mean that it's healthy, right? So right next to the instant Quaker, it's just a big old regular box of rolled oats that you have to add water to and boil it on the stove. That is what you really want to do, generally speaking, right? But in a pinch, if you had to, If you're at the family reunion at Momo's house in Podunk, Alabama, Quaker Instant walnuts and dates will get the job done, right? Okay.
So is there a difference between the regular oats and the steel oats?
There is.
Okay.
Steel cut oats are the least processed.
Okay.
Okay? Has the highest amount of fiber.
Okay.
If you have access to steel cut, that'll be the way to go.
Okay.
They don't have steel cut here.
Okay.
Okay?
A lot of people don't know what to do with them.
You just boil them.
Yeah, I
Right?
like
And then what I love to do with steel cut is put it in a crock pot. Put it in a crock pot overnight on slow with some apple juice. I would juice my own apple juice, season it up, and then you'll have a big pot of steel cut oats for the whole week. Okay? Because they do take a little more time.
Yeah.
Okay? So planning is key. That's a great point.
Before you go into the sugar, a lot of the stuff has artificial ingredients.
That's right.
That's why I don't eat it.
That's right. And again, this is about identifying what's vegan, what's vegetarian, what's not.
Okay.
Right? Again, like this is not what you want. Generally speaking.
Right.
Generally speaking. But if you have to, it's good to know.
Right.
It's good to know.
It's kind of
Sometimes,
like,
you know, you've gone to like a work-related event and they do that continental breakfast, and it's like they have the little bowls of cereal and muffins, and it's good to know that Rice Krispies are vegan. That Rice Krispies don't have dairy and eggs and extra sugar, right? Okay? Yes, sir.
quick note. You want to make a note that kind of the theme here is to do the best with what you have at the time. So that might change, let's say if you're on the road versus if you're at home and you have access to your kitchen. So that's kind of the theme here.
Yeah, but great questions. Keep the questions coming. All right, so
Before you leave this, what was that substitution for flaxseed?
Flaxseed, we'll get there.
Three.
We'll get there.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I
The
thought you
flaxseed
had said
egg.
it already.
I did, but I'm gonna say it when we get over there to and then it's on your paper too.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So cereal. We also have oats and honey, and the oats and dark chocolate. Those are vegan, right? And that's something that you might consider if you're in a pinch. Put something in your bag, just something to have, right? To hold you over until you get home. And like Elijah said, it's about sometimes working with what you have. If you're able to plan, you know, you can make granola at home with rolled oats. Right, a little sweetener, some nuts. Okay. She wants to know if this is vegan. And so this is Quaker Instant Grits butter flavor. I'm gonna say no. I hadn't even looked at the label, but let's see. Let's see. Specially processed, degerminated. You want me to keep reading? Okay, I already did. All right.
It already had artificially flavored on the front.
Okay.
Too. I wouldn't do that either.
Old-fashioned grits.
That's so awkward in place.
You want the least processed, right? So we're here. So what's offered here maybe something a little more nutritionally dense, you know, maybe offered somewhere else. So white corn grits, niacin, iron, thiamine, folic acid. It's not the worst thing, right? Where's the box that you gave me? Okay, so this enriched quick grits has, okay, its first ingredient is white corn grits. I will say this, white corn, generally speaking, is genetically modified, unless you find organic corn. But if you're here, right, you're like, okay, white corn, I'm with it. Sweet white corn is on the Clean 15 list, but it doesn't say if this was derived from sweet corn, so you really have no way of knowing. But what's good about this is the first ingredient is just white corn with 4 other ingredients. This has 20 ingredients plus, and the first ingredient is specially processed, degerminated white corn. I don't know what that means, I don't want that. Okay. So this one, you know, if you had to choose, this is what you want. You just want the grits, right, with the least amount. I want to be able to pronounce the ingredients on it.
I knew that was coming.
Okay. They don't have steel cut. Okay. So let's come on this down. All right, so we have tortillas. Tortillas are great alternative because you can, you know, tortillas is like portable cornbread, right? That's what I think the tortilla is at, right? Like in our community, it's about beans and rice, cornbread. You know, you think about that down-home cooking. In the Latino culture, it's very closely related, right? This is portable cornbread, y'all. You can wrap your beans in it and stir fry some vegetables, and you have a meal, right? These do not have lard. And let me see, I actually identified a brand on here, La Panderia, right? Does not have lard. And generally speaking, you want to go corn instead of flour. Okay. All right, let's go down aisle number 3. Aisle number 3, canned goods. Canned goods. I don't know if those two words should go together. Canned and goods. But okay. We call them canned veggies. How about that? Okay. So I'm going to start, since we're coming on a different angle, I'm going to start at the bottom of aisle 3 and work my way up. Okay? So we're going to start with fruit juice. Generally speaking, fruit juice, like this, I'm not identifying a particular brand, it's packaged to extend shelf life. And in order to do that, it has to be highly processed. And so what do? They extract the water, and then you're left with sugar, and then they add it back in with flavoring agents, right? Even if it doesn't say. And so how do they get around saying that something that, how do they get around not saying what's in it? They call it natural flavors. So they'll say, this has grapes and cranberries, natural flavor, sugar and water. The natural flavors is the cranberry flavor that you taste. Even if it says 100% juice, it's 100% concentrate. In my research, the only 100% not from concentrate juice that I found is right here. And that's the Dole 100% pineapple. But again, it's in a can. It says non-GMO, and that's great, right? Okay, so it expires November 2018. I'm not sure when it was manufactured, but that's about a year from now, isn't it? Just information, y'all. That's just information. But this is 100% juice. This doesn't have water in it. It's not made from concentrate. Of all the bottled juices, this is the only one that's 100%.
And you could only get it in the cans?
You can, at this store, they only have it in the can.
So comparing the bottle to refrigerated juice,
it's the same thing. Okay. If it's it's all about packaging and marketing.
Okay.
If they put it in a container and they make it cold and they put fresh on it and show some juicy fruit, you're like, oh, that's fresh just for me. They made it yesterday. No, it's just cold, y'all. It's just cold. It's the same thing. Right here, we have tomato sauce. Tomato sauce is a base for just about everything, you know, from pasta to soups, stews. And, you know, we're coming up on, you know, we just had the harvest moon and we're moving into this new fall season. The issue with tomatoes is that the acid interacts with the lining of the can. And most canned goods have a BPA liner, right? BPA mimics estrogen. If you're a man, that's really problematic. If you're a woman that has a history of female reproductive cancers, that's extremely problematic. Like cancer, that's a problem. Okay. The good news is Hunt's has a BPA-free can, and it's sold here at Fiesta. Isn't that cool? So right on the side, it says non-BPA liner, and right next to it, they're part of the non-GMO project. Tomatoes are on the Dirty Dozen list. So this is good news. What's even better, Gel Ferrite has a boxed tomato sauce. So you don't even have to worry, are they telling me the truth? It's in a box, y'all. And the boxes don't have any BPA. So this is really good news. And you know, if you don't, you know, cook for legions of folks, this is a really good size. And the price point is great. 59 cents. Any questions? Any questions so far? Okay. Let's move down. Right here. Can you get you to stop? Kitchen essentials.
Ooh, my favorite section.
You're going plant-based, and you're like, oh man, that means I have to overhaul my kitchen. I gotta go to, you know, it's gonna be expensive. It doesn't have to be expensive, and this was a pleasant surprise that fruit juice, that Fiesta carries some of these products like cheesecloth. I had a hard time finding cheesecloth. I had no idea that cheesecloth was sold at Fiesta. Why is this important? You can make your own nut milk. So you get you some organic or conventional, right? Almonds, put them in a blender with a lot of water, a little bit of Himalayan sea salt, and then you put this cheesecloth over a container and you pour the mixture over it, squeeze it, get all the yumminess out, and you have instant nut milk. I couldn't find cheesecloth anywhere. They sell it here, y'all.
About how many nuts do you use to make? How many pounds?
Probably two pounds will get you a half gallon. Depends on how thick you want it. You can make it super thick or you can make it thin. It's up to you. Okay. Anybody else want cheesecloth? Okay. This is the last one. Bamboo skewers. You want to roast vegetables, you want wrap vegetables and roast them in the oven. How do I keep it together so it looks pretty? You know, these. If it's, you know, a grill season, you can thread your vegetables on a skewer and roast your vegetables. How pretty. You can do it in your oven, you can do it on your skillet. And they're super cheap. And I know some recipes call for bamboo skewers. And you know, when I first went plant-based, I'm like, where do I find bamboo skewers? Yes.
Oh, we had a question back
Do they
here.
have any more cheesecloths?
They do. Would you like one?
Yes.
You get the last one.
You have it in your hand.
Sorry.
So they don't have
There are no more. But we can ask when we get up front, okay?
They might have some in the back somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping.
Okay, make a note. Let's see if we can get you some more. No.
I couldn't find
You know, I
them.
don't like Walmart.
I couldn't find them at Walmart.
Yeah, that's why I said, yeah, my feet.
Another thing is a steamer basket. Steaming your vegetables is a really good way of retaining the nutrients, much better than boiling them. So you don't have to invest in a pot, right? So this is $6.79, and this thing expands over your pot, as big as your pot is, and becomes a basket. And you just put the water in the pot, put the vegetables in here, cover it, maybe with another pot, maybe with something else, and you have an instant steamer basket, $6.79. And that's really important in plant-based cooking, because it's not just about cooking it, but how you prepare it as well, right? Because, yeah. There's one more steamer basket. Okay. They need to give them some kickbacks.
They showed it.
Okay.
You got an affiliate program?
Okay. Fruit juice, kitchen essentials. see. I'm looking for canned vegetables down here. Okay, let's stop right here. They actually have, okay, so what's the rule about canned goods? You want to go natural from the farm to table as much as possible, right? You want to be over there in the produce section. You don't want your vegetables to come out of a can, if at all possible. I mean, try really, really hard, really hard not to eat your vegetables. Even if you have to go frozen, that's a much better alternative, but I'll speak on that a little later. But if you're gonna go canned, go for the beans. Go for the beans. The beans, their nutritional integrity remains intact. You wanna look for a canned bean that has as little additives and salt as possible. Full Circle, Fiesta has a line, an organic line called Full Circle. They have organic black beans in a can. What's in it? Organic black beans, water, and sea salt. That's it. You can, what you would do to get rid of that salt that was added, and it's sea salt, right? It's not straight 99% sodium chloride, it's sea salt. You rinse these beans off, and you can throw them into a salad. You can put them in a tortilla, you can make a quesadilla, you can add it to a soup, right? If time is not on your side and you don't have time to soak your beans overnight and then cook them, this is a great alternative. Full Circle. Blue Runners Creole style red beans.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Those happen to be vegan. Progresso garbanzo beans are vegan. Heinz has vegetarian beans. For that cookout, go with your veggie burgers.
What they put in there?
Yeah. Water, beans, tomato sauce, brown sugar, vinegar, spices, mustard, bran, onion powder, garlic, paprika, and turmeric.
What about the, I know that dishes make the vegetarian one. I don't know if they have it here.
They don't have it here. They don't have it here. Okay. Garbanzo beans. Okay, prepare to have your mind blown. Who's heard of agua faba? Agua faba? Raise your hand if you've heard of it. It is an alternative. Yes, ma'am. What do you know about agua faba?
I know that I didn't eat it when I first saw it.
Okay.
So I've not tasted it.
Okay.
It was at a party.
Okay. Okay. That sounds like a different agua faba, but let me tell you about the one that I know about. This is the juice that the beans are in is an alternative to eggs. To eggs. So you can make lemon meringue pie. You can make fluffy chocolate chip cookies. You can make cake. You can make an omelet using garbanzo bean flour with this. So what you do is you take the bean, you separate the beans from the juice, and then you whip it with the hand mixer or in your food processor or in your KitchenAid until it gets white and fluffy and has peaks in it. You would use 3 tablespoons per egg in a recipe, and that's called agua faba. I mean, this is really game changing. Like flaxseed, that's kind of old school, but this right here, yeah. All right. Any questions about the beans? Okay, so behind you, there's a Gatorade and box juices, and I'm just gonna say, look away from the light. Look away from the light and meet me on aisle 4.
Go ahead.
Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Come on. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. All right. So pasta. Raise your hand if you don't like pasta. If you do not like, oh girl, really? Okay. So let's go with the sauce. Fiesta has an organic tomato sauce, which is really cool. A lot of the other tomato sauces have Parmesan cheese in them, so it doesn't. They're not vegan, right? Ragu home style, thick and hearty roasted garlic is vegan, vegetarian. Newman's own marinara and classical sweet basil, those are vegan, right? So they're but who cares? Like, you know, they're just good. But they don't have dairy in them. You'll find that the other sauces have cheese and a lot of sugar. Let's move down here to the pasta. Oh, okay. Ronzini has a gluten-free penne, Barilla, whole grain shells, and then Full Circle again. That's the Fiesta brand organic spaghetti. Where do you see behind you, the white? Right there. So this is the organic brand of the spaghetti.
Now with the wheat pasta, is there something to kind of give it another taste? I've tried it a couple times and just didn't like the taste of the wheat.
So this really has nothing to do with like being plant-based, but the key to cooking pasta is you want your water that you cook it in to be like salt water, like ocean water. So it needs to be really salty, right? And then you drain it, because you can't season pasta after you cook it. You have to season it during the cooking process. Okay? So what you think is like a good amount of salt, add extra salt to that water. That will increase the flavor. Right? Another thing about whole wheat pasta cooks a lot faster than white pasta, right? So if you're trying to go for al dente, you're gonna go for all wrong with wheat. So a good practice is bring the water to boil, put the wheat pasta in, let it go for about 5 minutes, take it off the burner, and just allow it to sit, and it will come to a perfect consistency where it won't be, you know, mushy. Who wants that? All right. Mac and cheese, mac and cheese, mac and cheese. Anybody see macaroni and cheese? So there's Annie's vegetarian mac and cheese. So that has dairy in it, and if you're a vegetarian, that's fine, right? And it just has what it says: pasta, butter, cheese, salt, all the stuff to just make macaroni and cheese. So as a vegetarian, that's a great alternative. And they have it in the little singles and pots, etc. Full Circle has an organic mac and cheese. You guys see it?
Nice.
Full Circle. Right there. Shells and cheese. It's not vegan, it's vegetarian. Sorry, vegans. Yes. Yeah.
Like you're saying, like with the cans and the big cans, stuff like that. Like as far as cooking, is there something that you need to be mindful of, like with pots and...
Well, she raised a good question. When you're cooking, should you be mindful of your cookware? And the answer is yes. You really don't want to use cookware that's made out of aluminum. Aluminum leaches into your food. Aluminum has been linked to Alzheimer's disease and dementia. Right, so that's why it's, you know, you really don't want to use deodorant that has aluminum in it. Most commercial deodorants have aluminum. Right, aluminum is linked to breast cancer in women and lymphoma. Think about it. You have lymph glands underneath your arm, and you're putting a known carcinogenic right on top of it. For vanity's sake, right? Because it's been marketed for us not to sweat. But the largest organ on our body is our skin. And what is the purpose of our skin? To protect and detoxify. And then we're putting a cancer-causing agent in a very sensitive area, just to keep our pits dry. Yeah.
Yeah, so what do you, I know I would believe cast iron is good, right?
Cast iron is great, particularly if you're plant-based. Again, you know, the food leaches materials from what it's cooked in. So if you're cooking in a cast iron pot, your food is going to leach the iron from the pot. So therefore, you won't have to take iron supplements. Or if you do, you will take a minimal amount. There's an item on the market, you can buy it on Amazon, called iron fish. And they're little cast iron fish that you just drop in your food, right, as you're cooking, and then remove them at the end of the cooking process, so that your food leaches the iron from the fish. You rinse it off and you just put it in the drawer until the next time you cook.
What is, I know the non-stick has.
It has, yeah. That's a different tour.
Yeah.
That's a different tour. But just generally speaking, right, stay away from aluminum. Stay away from aluminum. Cast iron is great, but again, cast iron can be costly. A good shortcut would be to go ahead and order those iron fish online. You can get them anywhere.
But what do you suggest cooking, and what type? Then, if you said not the aluminum, not the non-stick. There are other pots, okay. So just keep that in mind, okay. Right? And if it has aluminum, it needs to have very minimal amount, and it needs to have other metals that will protect it, right? That there's a barrier between that and your food. Okay? Any other questions? All right, let's move on down. You guys help me out. Where are we at? Rice. All right, rice and grains. Okay. Okay, grains. So they carry the couscous is on the other end. Yeah. Again, they're organic line full circle. It's brown rice. Really pleasantly surprised that there is an alternative to white rice, right? They also carry organic lentils. Lentils is a great meat substitute. I make meatloaf, I make burgers, I make breakfast sausage out of lentils. And then of course lentil soup, which is just delicious, right? And it's a good price point, $2 a pound. Oh, you mentioned the Near East couscous?
Near East couscous is at the end. So let's come on down. Okay, so you're plant-based. Okay, so you're doing your produce. This aisle is your friend. Dried beans, whole grains as much as possible. White rice is highly processed. It's cheap. It's a filler. You know, if you have family from the South, you know this is a staple, right? Particularly like Louisiana. Like etouffee and gumbo and beans and rice. Yeah, some white rice.
So is that any white rice? Like the jasmine rice?
Any white rice
okay.
is highly processed. Okay. Highly processed. Now they do have a jasmine organic rice here. It's over there. You see organic jasmine rice? Blue circle. All right, so here we're on the international foods aisle. What I really appreciate is that, you know, Latino people are the indigenous people of this land, of this country, and that they have a chain of grocery stores to meet the needs of their culture. And, you know, I can do nothing but admire them for that. Here they have a section of medicinal products that they use that's indigenous to their culture that maybe you wouldn't recognize. vitamins, supplements, tonics to get rid of parasites, things like that, which is great. Over here we have foods that products that are indigenous to West African culture. So we have palm oil in certain sauces. We have Caribbean seasonings, green plantain chips. We have Asian products. You have your sriracha sauce. You have your hot chili sauce. You have your soy and your ponzu. Okay.
With regards to soy, I heard that a change is modified and has a lot of Is that true? So it's not good for like Germany and
Yes. The thing about soy is you want to consume it as non-processed as possible, right? Or in its fermented form, right? So in a soy sauce, a miso, tempeh. Tempeh is fermented soybeans, right? Tofu is highly processed. Soy isolate is highly processed. So you'll find that in a lot of your analog meats, like the Morningstar farm products, right? Which, no shade, those products are great transitional products. If you're going from a meat-based to a plant-based, right? It's just helping you get through. Just helping you get through. But you don't want to build your diet on those products, right? So stay away from soy isolates. Stay away from highly processed. Like, you don't want to be snacking on soy potato chips. Like, you don't want to do that, right? Okay, tempeh, miso. In Asian culture, soy is a condiment. But in the Western culture, we found out that it was good for you, and we're like, oh, we're gonna have snacks, we're gonna rub it on ourselves, right? So,
all right, back on track.
In a baking recipe, 1 egg. To substitute 1 egg, 3 tablespoons of flaxseed, ground flaxseed, 3 tablespoons of water. I'm sorry, that's incorrect. 1 tablespoon of flaxseed, 3 tablespoons of water equal 1 egg. And then you can also Google flax egg, but I believe that's correct. 1 to 3. You can't do anything with flax seeds itself because it has that hard coating. It's not bioavailable. It won't do anything. It'll pass right through. You don't get any benefit from that. You need it ground. You can buy the flax seeds, and if you have a coffee grinder, put the flax seeds in a coffee grinder. But once you open it, store it in the refrigerator. But really good diversity of seasoning. Over here, we have olive oil. We have coconut oil. This is 100% coconut oil, but it's processed. They've removed the flavoring and the scent from it, but it's still coconut oil, right? So it's refined. And some people, have an aversion to the flavor and the smell of coconut oil. Non-stick. That's great. Canola oil. You really want organic if possible. There's a question? Oh, someone else. The thing to keep in mind about olive oil has a low smoke point. So you don't want to fry anything in olive oil. You really want to add it toward the end of the cooking process, right? You want to use olive oil to make salad dressings and things like that. If you're making pasta, toward the end, like, the dish is almost cooked, you add a splash of olive oil toward the end because it has a low smoke point. What does that mean? It becomes rancid, carcinogenic once it's overheated, right? You have free radicals in your system. All right, let's move down. So canola is the best. Canola, if it's organic. Remember, canola is rapeseed. Yeah. More seasoning. thing. Let me see. Listen, we didn't talk about salt enough. I'm sure a lot of us are familiar with this, right? Did we grow up with this in the kitchen cabinet? Maybe some of us still have it. The best thing you can do for yourself is to get rid of this. Like, don't even give it away. Like, if you love somebody, you wouldn't give it to them, right? This is highly processed sodium chloride. It's responsible for gout, high blood pressure, arthritis, contributes to coronary heart disease. You don't want this.
What if you just made it out of sea salt for your hands?
No. You want to get rid of this. You want to get rid of this. What will you put in its place? Sea salt. What's better than sea salt? Pink Himalayan sea salt. Pink Himalayan sea salt. But they don't have pink Himalayan sea salt here. But they do have sea salt. All natural sea salt. What's the difference between the two? Sea salt doesn't have all of the minerals that pink Himalayan sea salt has. So this comes from the ocean. Pink Himalayan comes from near the Himalayan mountains. But they're in the mountains, mined, protected for millions of years. It's pink because of all the iron and minerals that's in it. So pink Himalayan sea salt has 80 plus minerals, essential nutrients. Regular processed salt is 99% sodium chloride. The other 1% is anti-caking agents to keep it from clumping up when you pour it. That's it. You know, it's poison. It is just straight poison. Okay. So, you need to make a birthday cake, but you don't know how to bake, right? What do? All right. So you want to elevate your ice cream. Hershey's syrup is vegan. Baker's chocolate. There's some bars of Baker's chocolate over there. You guys back there, you see bars of Baker's chocolate. 48%, 56%, 100% cacao. Do you see one, brother, that says 100% cacao?
Yellow one.
Okay, 100%. What is cacao? That is what chocolate is made from, right? Doesn't have any sugar in it, hasn't been processed, comes right from the cacao bean. That is what chocolate is supposed to be, right? Betty Crocker gingerbread mix, Pillsbury dark chocolate brownies, Duncan Hines French vanilla cake, Duncan Hines classic vanilla frosting, Pillsbury coconut pecan frosting, all vegan. Jell-O is typically not vegan. Can anybody tell me why?
The gelatin.
The gelatin.
Right, it's made out of the sinewy tissue from pigs, right? From the joints of pigs. But here's a vegan Jell-O. See, y'all, for Thanksgiving you can have your banana pudding. Okay, so the vanilla cook and serve pudding is vegan. Well, you would cook it with nut milk and like you would make banana pudding out of it, right? If that's your thing. But of the Jell-O products, this is the only one that's vegan. All the rest of them are made from pork.
And also, so is marshmallows. Most marshmallows also are used from that too.
Yeah. All right.
What's this?
The sugar sweeteners at the bottom.
Okay. None of that. It's all highly processed.
Got it. Right here. You don't need to go around.
Baking. Okay, sweeteners right here. I'm surprised that this is still legal. I really am. But I'm just going to skip over that. Someone spoke about agave. They have agave here. They also have organic cane sugar And they have an organic brown sugar, a light brown sugar for baking, for sweetening purposes. So that's just good to know.
So in the raw brown sugar, it's not good.
In the raw.
It's right from right here.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Okay.
But is it? It's not vegan though.
Okay. What about the other one?
The thing about vegan and non-vegan sweet sugar is that they use bones in the finishing process. But this is raw. This is turbinado sugar, right?
What about that one? A lot of people use the imperial sugar.
This is highly processed. She asked about imperial pure cane sugar. It's just highly processed, just like that white salt over there. It's extremely highly processed.
And the brown one too?
Yeah, you don't want this. You don't want this.
Okay.
You don't want that.
Okay.
You don't want that. Right?
Okay. What you look for on the packaging when you're looking for that kind of?
You're looking for the least processed. So this is the same thing.
Okay.
Right? It started out like this.
Okay.
And then they bleached it and put a lot of chemicals in it to get this.
Okay.
So if you had to choose, you want to do sugar in the raw.
Yeah.
Okay. If you are insulin resistant and you're like, well, you know, sugar elevates my numbers, then you'll go with the agave. But cinnamon is a great alternative. Like if you drink coffee, just add cinnamon to your coffee. You'd be surprised that it will sweeten up your coffee.
And milkmaid. Yes.
Okay. All right, let's go to aisle 7. Just from a good citizen of this planet, right? if you consume coffee and chocolate, it's good to consider purchasing fair trade. Why? Because products that are not that do not observe fair trade practices, those products are usually manufactured, harvested by slaves that look like us. Okay. They take advantage of farmers. They pay them, you know, pennies, negative pennies on the dollar for their products. Fair trade, the people are paid a fair exchange for the products. That is fair trade.
I mean, how do I?
It would have a label that said fair trade. Okay. They don't have any labels here. That's all right.
Oh, okay.
Again, you know, we just work with what we have. But just as a just generally speaking, just to keep in mind, right? And that's, you know, some people, they're like, oh, I don't know where my food comes from, and that's not an issue for me. I'm just dropping that seed for you. That's what fair trade is. And if you ever run across it, then maybe you'll retrieve that information. Say, sure, you said slaves. There's slavery involved in that. Yeah. Come over to the tea. The creamers have some animal byproducts in it. If you're vegetarian, then that's okay with you. A good alternative to creamer, the number one ingredient in creamer is oil. You can put unrefined coconut oil in your coffee to give it a creamy consistency, just as you would get with a creamer, right? And then it's good for you. Good for your hair, good for your skin, right? Just don't overdo it. Like a teaspoon in a cup of coffee. They have a nice assortment of teas. Peppermint tea, lemon ginger. Lemon ginger tea is particularly good for your digestion before a meal. So 30 minutes before a meal, it's a good idea. You know, when you're eating a meal, you're not supposed to drink a cold beverage. Right? Mm-hmm. Right? Because it extinguishes the fire in your belly for the digestion. So it slows down everything when you drink cold beverage with the meal. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right? When you get up first thing in the morning, you should have some warm lemon water. Warm lemon water to kick in the peristalsis in your digestive system.
Peristalsis.
Mm-hmm. We have chamomile, peppermint, just a really good assortment. You can have it hot or cold. Next aisle. Vegan. Lay's Classic, Sun Chips, Original, vegan. Cape Cod, most of their chips are vegan. Fritos Original, vegan. Ruffles Original, vegan. Zapp's Voodoo, Vegan. Good to know. Information. And also the Snyder pretzels.
That's the one people know the least about. Those chips back there.
Oh, they're pretty good.
Oh, I haven't tried them myself.
Oh, okay.
I just learned about them.
And chili, vegan. Sunflower seeds.
Excuse me.
Now these sunflower seeds, they have a little extra. Sunflower seeds, spices and salt, Cholula yeast. Anybody remember what Cholula yeast is? What's Cholula yeast? Yeah, and it is a substitution for what? MSG. But generally speaking, though, sunflowers are a great source of protein. Okay.
Some bean oil, like they had sunflower oil. Or soybean oil. What is that a good thing or not?
No, but you want it. It depends on where you're at and what's available, right? It's about working with what you have.
Yeah.
It's either nothing or that.
I bought my herb bar recently because they were roasted and salted.
When it comes to nuts, you generally want to buy raw organic, if possible. If it's not available, you just want to read the package, right? And the key is you want to be able to pronounce what they put in it. If it says soybean oil, maybe I don't want soybean oil in my nuts, but I know what soybean oil is. But if the word is this long, maybe not. Maybe I'll pass on it, right? Okay. You had a question about sugar.
Yeah, the pure cane sugar, the brown sugar.
Okay, so she had a question about sugar. What's the difference between, isn't brown sugar better than white sugar? There's no difference. The only difference is it is processed white sugar. And okay, so you saw the sugar in the raw. Sugar in the raw is brown because it has it's molasses that's in the sugar. They extract the molasses out and then add it back into the white sugar and call it brown sugar, and then you think it's healthy. All you had to do is just buy sugar in the raw, right? Without all the work. Okay. Right. So almond oil is a great carrier oil. Tea tree oil is okay, but it needs to be diluted with water, right? And then if you have an overload of an essential oil, you don't add water to it, you would add a carrier oil to it. I had a bad experience once, y'all. I was taking a shortcut and I'm like a mad chemist in my bathroom. I have all these oils, and I took some clove oil and I didn't put enough carrier oil in my hand, and I just rubbed it all over. And then, as time would pass, I just felt myself heating up. Yeah. And so I got back in the shower, and it only made it worse, right? So in order to cool it down or to combat the effects, you add more oil to it to calm it down. Carrier oil. Yes. So keep that in mind. If you have children in a home and you do use essential oils, you add oil. You don't add water, right? So let's say a kid, a child got some oil in their eyes. You wouldn't rinse it with water. Put oil in it. Appreciate you for hanging. So did you know that there is vegan wine? Okay, so in the finning process of making wine, they use egg whites, they use fish, and so you don't have to go to Whole Foods to get you some vegan wine. Right here, Sutter Home White Zinfandel is vegan, and so is their Cabernet Sauvignon. Yellowtail Sangria and all of their reds are vegan. And in my opinion, there's a difference in the flavor if wine drinking is your thing. Okay? And it's also noted on your paper here. It doesn't, but let me tell you why. Because coconuts are so high up, nobody's spraying coconut trees. So it's just a selling point. You're like, oh, I got organic coconut water. It doesn't matter. I never thought about that.
Yeah. And then it's in the show. The show is so hard.
Right. And in terms of hydration, water, right, is the best form of hydration. It's the best form of hydration. If you're choosing between, let's say, a juice, coconut water, and then they have flavored coconut water with, you know, juice extracts added.
Mango and pineapple is good.
Crystal Geyser. Crystal Geyser is $1.79 a gallon. You can get Crystal Geyser for 99 cents at the dollar store. Crystal Geyser has really good reviews. They're ranked just under Fiji water. Fiji water is much more expensive than Crystal Geyser. If you go to ewg.org and there is a tab that says, how clean is my water? EWG, it's on the last page of your handout. You can put in your zip code and it will tell you, it will give you the report of your water municipality. So many of us live in, we get our water from Dallas, from the city of Dallas. Now our water is not the worst, but our water is not the best. And the issue with tap water is that you cannot control the pharmaceutical content in municipal water. Now you wonder, how do pharmaceuticals get in my water? Well, if you take if you're taking pharmaceuticals and you eliminate in your bathroom, where does our water come from? All of that is filtered into our water supply system. And so you'd be surprised the chemicals, even known carcinogens that are in our water that they say is safe for us to drink. Yeah. So you could do bottled water, or you can buy a Brita, filter to put on your sink nozzle. You can buy a pitcher, or you can go as elaborate as you want and pay thousands of dollars and have some system installed in your house. But I'm saying water is better than no water. Crystal Geyser has been shown to be just one step under Fiji. And, I say most of us here are probably dehydrated. If you get thirsty during the day, you're dehydrated. You're past dehydrated, right? We should be drinking at a minimum 64 ounces of water a day. And this concludes the presentation. Does anyone have any questions? Yes, ma'am.
I don't have questions, but I have a comment. I just think it's awesome. I saw you all on Facebook this morning, and I called my mom and told her about it. And I think it's great because we always talk about what we need in our community, but this is the first time I've seen anything on a grassroots level that's so impactful. So I just want to tell you thank you. Personally, I think this is fantastic.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
Can you restate your organization again?
It's Lighthouse Wellness. And the purpose of Lighthouse Wellness is to support the health of African American men. So I teach yoga on Thursdays at Pan African Connection, 7:30 p.m. Donation-based classes. Please come out.
On Thursdays?
On Thursdays, 7:30 p.m. for everyone.
All fitness, all levels?
All fitness levels for everyone. And village-trained children, too.
Okay.
Okay? That's right, I got you. For everyone. Yes. And we have more seminars and activities to come just to uplift us.
Is it on Exeter on the other side, or is it on
No, Pan African Connection is on Marsalis in Ann Arbor and the Glendale Shopping Center.
Okay.
Yes.
Donation, if you want to give a donation, how do you give a donation for your time?
Oh, no. This is a labor of love. Come to my yoga class. Go to my page. Like my page. Okay, lots of good information.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You
Yes.
said it at the beginning, but what's your name?
My name is Sherry.
Sherry.
Okay. Doucette.
Okay.
And brother, did you have a question?
I was going to ask about milk alternatives such as the almond milk, but I heard you speak about how to make it.
Yes.
And for something that may be time consuming.
Yes.
Do you know of any products that it has enough